Guess we can dismiss and go home. After that. I got this, to read today. Was sent to me by Carol Jean. She found it, probably on the internet, Facebook, huh? Someone sent it to her? It says, it's sort of like a Father's Day deal. Finally, I understand. Unlike many other kids, I never had a good relationship with my father when I was growing up. He never took me fishing, hunting, or ball games. My participation in sports was frowned upon and viewed as a waste of time. Most importantly, I never heard him utter, "I love you." As I have grown older and spent considerable time researching our family history, I have found my perspective changing. Now I think of things that were important, but which never dawned on me as a teenage boy. While we never had much money, I can say that we never missed a meal, largely because of the tremendous amount of work that my father put into raising vegetables and a few pigs. Even after the kids were all grown and gone, it was just he and mother. He was driven to plant practically every square foot of ground that he owned. I have never witnessed anyone with a stronger work ethic. I have also learned that love can be expressed without uttering a word. There was another aspect to his character that I remember well. He never turned down someone in need. I recall a time, 1960s, when he was coming home early in the morning from working the night shift at the prison near Wartburg. It had snowed, and there was at least 6 to 8 inches of snow on the roads. He encountered Charles Roberts, who was in the military at the time, standing shivering near Creek Cross Junction trying to get home on leave. Even though the roads were treacherous, my father would consider nothing less than driving Charles to his parents' home in Harriman. I knew that my father had dropped out of school as a young boy to work in coal mines, but it was only in recent years that I realized it was necessity because his father was disabled and could not work to support their family. The significance of the 10-year-old boy going to work in mines had somehow escaped me. Then this past Saturday, I visited the Coal Creek Miners Museum in Rocky Top, previously Lake City, and before that Coal Creek. There is a display in the museum of a young boy and an adult male going to work in the mine. As I viewed the exhibit, I suddenly realized that this was my father's childhood. Nothing but hard work in the worst possible hazardous environment. There was no playing sports, no frivolous in his life, just a constant struggle to see that his parents and siblings had something to eat. What a burden to place on a 10-year-old boy. It was then that I lost it, and the tears flowed. Finally, as we approach the 20th Father's Day since his death, I can say I understand Terry Futrell. Y'all know Terry Futrell? He was a real smart kid here in Coalfield, and
Which one was his dad? If you were on his dad, I mean, the wheels go up. Which one was
well, Lewis Long, Futrell, Lewis too. Well, Brother Lonnie called me up a couple weeks ago and he said, what film do y'all want to show while we're gone on vacation? I said, well, I said, the film would be good, but most people don't like them. They can stay home and watch the pastor on television preaching a good sermon. But I said, I won't have much to say, I won't preach, but I'll have a few Bible verses. He said, well, that'd be good. I said, that'll be better than the movie. So, we'll start in the Bible in Genesis, and the title of it was The Laws and Commandments. And I was watching Jeopardy last night, and one of the questions, he said, how many number of days did the Lord do the world and all that was in it? And it was a perfect number. And you all know what it was? 6. 6, because the host of the show said the 7th was the rest day. So that was part of what I had written down to. I know most of you know all this, and we just touch a few high spots on it. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. The earth was without form, void, and darkness upon the face. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw that the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Now Moses says this, and every day that he adds something to the world, the evening and the morning was the first day. In later time, the government or whoever changed it from evening to midnight for the time difference. And in Genesis 2 and 3, and on the 7th day God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the 7th day, and sanctified it, because in it he rested in all his work and God created and made. In Genesis 2:7, the Lord formed Adam from the dust. In 2:17, he told him about all the fruit in the garden they could eat, but the tree of knowledge, do not eat it. And then he made Eve, and she was aware of the fruit, but the serpent talked her into eating the fruit. So they had to leave the garden. In chapter 4, Cain and Abel came along. Of course, Abel was sacrificing the lambs like God wanted him to. Cain tried to sacrifice fruit and vegetables, and that wasn't approved. It wasn't approved way. It was supposed to be the lambs, sacrificial lambs. Cain and Abel got into a discussion out in the field one day, and like brothers and sisters, I don't know, I wasn't there, and there's not any telling that what one boy said to the other, but I can only imagine that Abel told him that his Cain's sacrifice wasn't good, so Cain that was the first murder. Cain and killed his brother. And went on to back to chapter 7, when Noah and the ark, I'm sorry, they was, that was Noah and the ark, and he was talking about, he preached for 120 years. He told them to get the animals on the ark, 7 clean, 2 unclean. And that was in chapter 7 Genesis, but it was later in Leviticus 11 that it talked about all the, what's good to eat, what wasn't clean and unclean. And also in Leviticus, it was prohibited sexual practices, chapter 18, 19, and 20. And it told what you could, couldn't, and what the penalty was. And you know, back then there was a lot of stoning that went on when you did the wrong deal. Exodus 20, the 10 Commandments. The Lord had Moses get all the people around the foot of Mount Sinai where he could hear, where the people could hear, and the Lord was writing on the tablets the 10 Commandments. And the people heard all these commandments that he was saying. And then later Moses went up onto the mountain to get the tablets. And while he was there, the Lord was telling him all about what the priest should do and all the smaller laws and stuff that was not written on the tablets. So the Lord told him, he said, you better get down because the people are in an uproar. So he went down and he saw they had formed the calf. Of course, Moses threw the tablets down and broke them. And in Exodus 34:1, it says that, and the Lord said unto Moses, hew thee 2 tables of stone, like unto the first, and I will write upon these tablets the words that were the first tablets which thou breakest. And in Numbers 15, (32) to 41, it was talking, while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man that gathered sticks upon the Sabbath day. And they that found him gathering sticks brought him unto Moses and Aaron, and to all the congregation. And they put him in war because it was not declared what should be done with him. And the Lord said unto Moses, the man shall be surely put to death. All the congregation shall stone him with stone without the count. And all the congregation brought him without the count, and stoned him with stones, and he died, as the Lord commanded Moses. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes and borders of their garments throughout their generations, and they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribband of blue, and it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it remember all the commandments of the Lord, and do them, and that you seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which you used to go forward, that you may remember and do all my commandments, and be holy unto your God. I am the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt, to be your God. I am the Lord your God. And in Romans 7:12, I have always liked this from Paul, but it's kind of hard to understand when you read it, but it's got a lot of good meaning. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just and good. Was then that which is good made death unto me? God forbid. But sin, that it might appear sin, working death in me by that which is good, that sin by the commandment might become exceeding sinful. For we know that the law is spiritual, and I am carnal, sold under sin. For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that do I. If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that is good. Now then, it is no more that I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. For I know that in me, that is, in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. For to will it present with me, but how to perform that which is good, I find not. For the good that I would, I do not, but the evil which I would not, that I do. Now if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me. For I delight in the law of good of God after the inward man. Then we see in 1 John 4:11-21. Beloved, if God so loved us, we ought also to love one another. No man has seen God at any time. If we love one another, God dwelleth in us, and his love is perfected in us. Whereby know we that we dwell in him, and he in us, because he hath given us of his Spirit. And we have seen and do testify that the Father sent the Son to be the Savior of the world. Whosoever shall confess that Jesus is the Son of God, God dwelleth in him, and he in God. And we have known and believed the love that God hath to us. God is love, and he that dwelleth in love dwelleth in God, and God in him. Wherein is our love made perfect, that we may have boldness in the day of judgment. Because as he is, so are we in this world. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear. Because fear hath torment. He that feareth is not made perfect in love. We love him because he first loved us. If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother, whom he hath seen, how can he love God whom he hath not seen. And this commandment have we from him, that he who loveth God, love his brother also. And I was watching a country show the other night, and this old lady, she'd always got a Bible verse or a saying or something on that show. And I was telling Brother Monty about it, and he said, well, I've said that several times in our church. And I said, yeah, I remember you saying it. And it said, she said, good people don't go to heaven, only the forgiven. So, if you're not a Christian, if you don't love God, I pray that everyone will hit their knees and get forgiveness and love each other and your brother and sister. So that's all I have today. We'll get out a little bit early.